Okay, I'm gonna be real with you right now. At the time of this recording, two things. One, I am on my cycle, and I just kind of need to laugh. I need kind of like a lighthearted thing that's gonna make me feel better. And to go along with our theme, all the cunts to the front, the entire theme of my podcast, intention of empowering people, especially women. I'm actually gonna be reading. I'm gonna be reading responses to this post. A post of mine went a little viral. Sometimes my posts get like a couple thousand views. Sometimes it's like 10,000. Sometimes, it gets crazy. It's like 40,000. It speaks to some people. And this one specifically got 9.8 million. So here's the deal. I posted this very short video and I was just asking for like the most unhinged, badass way you have shut down a creepy man or creepy advances. And it ended up getting 19,000 comments. And I was like, I can't leave all of that pure talent to go to waste. I haven't even gotten all the way through them yet. And I was like, the best way to honor this post, I feel, is to make an episode of my podcast about it, because it's just like, it just feels like the right thing to do. So I've got my matcha on my phone. I don't have any outline. I don't have anything else. I literally just want to have a laugh and also empower other people, especially women, especially any girls, to hear these and maybe be inspired. I was like, I just need to feel better. I literally put it out and I was like, please, like, help me fill my repertoire of like responses, right? So that's what we're gonna fucking get into, and I'm really excited about it. This podcast is for anyone who is in the process of becoming. I hope whoever's meant to hear what I have to say is listening, but as always, all the cunts to the front. We're gonna fucking jump into it. Holy shit. Okay, here's a good one. A guy came up to me at a hockey game and asked me if he could buy me a drink. I said, oh no, I don't drink. And he said, oh, do you get a little wild when you drink? I'd like to see that. Ew. I shook my head and said, oh no, I get very violent. I'm still on parole and that man is still in the hospital, so it's probably best I don't drink. He slowly backed away. The woman in front of me turned around and said, that was amazing. I'm totally using that one. This one was actually by a guy. It says, not sure if it counts since I'm a big dude, but on the U-Ban, a guy was obviously making a young woman feel uncomfortable. So I put myself between them, started maneuvering the guy into a corner and farted on him. Cheers to you, bro. Next. Out of the pool, he had his arm on the doorframe above my head and wouldn't let me through. I grabbed his armpit hair and pulled down as hard as I could. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That's funny. That's really funny. This one got 5,000 likes, and it says this quote, fix your posture, little boy, because I refuse to be disrespected by the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Ah. I like how some of these are legit story time. Here's one. A guy told me I'd be an 8 if I lost weight, and I told him he might crack a 3 if he stopped talking. One says, I ripped off my wig and said nothing. Love that. Another one was screaming at the top of my lungs. That works. Flirted with me in a bookstore, told him I was not interested. Then he said, you're too fat anyways. I looked him dead in the eyes and asked, so how does that make you feel knowing not even the fat ones want you? The man was too stunned to speak. Also, I'm reading these in real time. I haven't even made it through like getting to all these comments, and I want, like, my heart and spirit wants to reply to every single one of them. Maybe AI can help me with that, but like this 19,000 comments is pretty fucking awesome. Okay, here's another one from a guy. It's actually a story time from a guy. I'm a guy, but I wanted to share. Saw a guy trying to, quote, flirt with a girl during a happy hour where she was clearly uncomfortable and he was really pushing up on her physical space and seems as though she was waiting for friends. So I approached him and did almost everything he was doing. For some reason, he didn't like when someone else bigger than him was sitting next to him with their legs spread open and their knee touching his knee, placing their hand on his lap and talking really closely to his face. He was like, what the fuck do you mean? And I said, what? I'm just being friendly like you're to her. Does this make you uncomfortable? He got the point. I thought it was probably the first time he's ever been made to feel physically uncomfortable. Kudos to that guy if the girl didn't punch the first one in the nads. Another story time by a girl. At the clubs, if a man was trying to flirt, I used to hand out business cards for cosmetic dentists or doctors who specialize in hair transplants and tell them, I think you'd be a really great candidate. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Another story time. I was at a concert and towards the end, this guy started dancing with me. He got more handsy with every song and I knew I needed to turn things down for him. For the last song, I turned around and picked him up in a fireman carry, held him and swayed until the song was done. I'm a lifter. He was a short king. It was a beautiful image of emasculation. Okay. Oh, shit. Another one. I say it every time. Your skin would make a nice lampshade. That is creepy and probably also effective. Another story time. While I was sitting at a bus stop, a man approached me wearing a long coat. He proceeded to open up the coat and revealed that he was completely naked underneath. I pointed at his peen and laughed the loudest cackle laugh ever. He quickly covered himself up with the coat and ran away, totally mortified. That was a great day! Exclamation point. God, that's what they say to do. I think Selma Hayek shared one of those stories as well. Like, one of the women in her life taught her because I think she was being, what is that called? Flashed. She was being flashed, like, on a regular basis, apparently. And one of the women in Selma Hayek's life told her to point and laugh, even if you're scared, and like even all these things, like stop, point, and laugh. And she did that and then was never like flashed by this person ever again. Today I saw a post that said, why don't you take some advice from your hairline and step back a few inches? Like that. I feel like I would remix it to be like, why don't you take a note from your hairline and step the fuck back? Something like that. I feel like I would say that. I think that's one of the only ones I have like on like the ready in my back pocket. Oh, shit. This one says, I grabbed his cherries emoji and squeezed, dug my stiletto acrylics in, and asked him if I should have asked for consent first. All right, fucking go for it. Dude called me fat, so I told him I could lose weight. He can't get any taller. He fucking cried. Fucking seriously, just put that shit out. You can't ask for it. Hold on, my matcha is settling. My friend's mom on the bus grabbed the guy's hand, lifted it up in the air, and shouted, "This hand is touching me. Whose hand is this?" I like that. Another story time. When I was an intern at a hotel, parentheses, kitchen, I always came back at dawn and noticed that I was being followed. So I slowed down. He stared at me without reacting. He asked if I had time and came towards me as if he was going to grab me. I stood still and said that I did, and with the biggest maniac smile I could make, I pulled a 10-inch knife from my bag. He stopped in front of me without reacting. And I just started running after him, screaming with the knife. He ran towards the police station. See, that's being a chef pays off. You have those knives like at the ready. I like that. These are really fucking good. I'm really happy I'm doing this. This is also a really nice way to start the day after a meditation. I once started acting possessed and flexible, so I bent over backwards and came at him. That got 26,000 likes. That's hilarious. I started chasing him on all fours, speaking in Latin, quote, dick pics, question mark, reply with, oh, you should see a doctor about that. Stranger grabbed me inappropriately, so I poked him in the eyes. Love that. Too many come to mind, but last Halloween, a man looked at me in full clown makeup and asked if I was crazy. Parentheses, after harassing my group for a bit. Parentheses. To be honest, I did the most in response, starting with agreeing I was crazy. I love that. Stand up for yourself and your group. Another story time. When I walk at night, I have my proper spray in hand and unlocked. Someone said, quote, hey, shawty, you got a man? How you doing? Quote. I gave him a thumbs up with my pepper spray in hand. He didn't bother me. Another time, some guy came up to me and my sister in a bar and made my sister really uncomfortable. I told him to buy us drinks. When we got the drinks, I said, thanks. We have to go hang out with our dad. Bye. And we proceeded to walk over to our dad, who's 6'1", buff dude. The guy did not follow us. Pays to have a super buff dad. I got a D pic, so I made a comic about his pee-pee being sentient and wanting to improve itself because it wanted to be better than the man it was attached to. Then I sent it to him. Oh my God, the effort of that one. 10 out of 10. Another story time. Was at a house party once, and this guy kept sitting next to me and touching my legs and waist. I kept shifting away and saying things like, "You gotta ask first, dude." And "Can you not?" Eventually, I just blurted out, "Bro, stop being rapey." Months later, he came back to a party I was at, and he was an entirely different person. Said he hated the word rapey and that it made him completely alter his perspective on things. Never put hands on me again. Massive reason why I don't get behind softening names for things. Call a spade a spade. It has the weight it has for a reason. I really commend this girl for doing that. That's fucking true. That's true. That's true. Next, he DM'd me after ghosting for 3 months. I sent him the "get a load of this guy" meme, and then a voice recording, my entire friend group howling with laughter and calling him names. I like that. Got a D-pic and told him, "I've smoked cigarettes longer than that thing." Rejected a guy who was wearing a beanie. He got rude, so I asked to see his hairline. He got quiet, bro. Quote, "Sorry, I don't have any change." Quote, "Gotta use it immediately and be prepared for them to be mad." Yep. Talking to myself, angry, saying, "No, shh, no, I won't. No, I don't trust you." Shh, then giggle. "Hush, I said I won't do that." Worked like a charm. Okay, so basically pretending like the voices is telling them to do something naughty. Love that. That one got 20,000 likes. Love that. Another one that's unhinged. I love these. I barked at him and said, "Damn, baby girl, what those kidneys do." When he rushed away, I turned to him yelling, "I need your kidney, baby." This is kind of sad, but it's true. This person basically made an observation. It says, "I know this is for fun to share, but at 17.5 thousand responses about the abuse women endure from men who can't hear no is truly sad. And yet so many men want to say, not all men. This sure feels like a hell of a lot of men behaving poorly." And I applaud the women, in parentheses, and some of the men in the comments who stood up for themselves. And after that, it says, "Therapy is expensive. This comment section is free." So is this podcast. Cheers. I caught a guy staring at me once, so I stared back and slowly let one eye drift sideways until he freaked out and ran away. It's my secret talent, is going half cross-eyed. I can do that too. I love that. Love that for you. This one starts with a quote from the girl. She says, "Aw, that's cute that you don't let that affect you approaching women." And then she says, "I have said this multiple times and it works every time. Don't be specific, just say that very definitively while glancing in a general area. Stomach, head, side of face, or like to do a little head pat sometimes, and then make direct eye contact. Funniest vibe you'll ever feel." I also do want to acknowledge that, like, sometimes I'm ready to go the fuck off on someone, and sometimes it makes me angry, but I literally will assess my physical safety first, before doing that, or like making sure that there's witnesses where I'm at. Like, I literally assess my surroundings, physical safety, and that will then determine like how I respond to the situation. I usually have no issues in going off on people, men. But if you get the crazy vibe, basically I'm saying always be careful and always assess like your safety. If you got a group, yes. If you are alone with this person, just being silent is like not the way, but when it's for your safety, it is the way. It's fucked up. But back to living for these comments, okay? This one says, "If a man ever asks you, 'Why are you being so crazy? Are you on your period or something?' A perfect response I found for this is, 'Yes, I am actually. I started my day by waking up in a pool of my own blood. Is that how you would like to end yours?'" Oh, I like reading these in real time. Okay, another one. "Anytime a man disrespectfully stares at my body, I look at him from head to toe and gag. I actually always stare back. If I know someone is like looking me up and down or looking at my boobs, even though they're pricky little A cups, they'll look anyway, or your ass, like Anybody ever notice someone staring at their ass when you're just trying to mind your business at the gym and work out? I will stare. I will stop working out, stay still, and when they notice I'm not moving, they'll like glance up in the mirror or something like that, and I'll just stare. And they'll always look away. Or they'll put the phone away. You ever notice someone's like just hanging out, but like their phone is weirdly just like pointed at you in your direction, but they're minding their business? You can't call them out because then you'll be crazy or you'll be like, it's all about you. But fucking women know this isn't normal. And they're like just hanging out, not taking video of themselves. It's not pointed at them. Women know. And they're not full of themselves and they're not crazy. They can feel when eyes are on them or a camera's on them and shit like that. So I always stare. And if I feel it worse, I will, one, either turn around, like if it's in the mirror or something, I'll turn around and stare at them directly in the eye because I'm safe to do so. I'm in a public space. There's many different people. Or I'll just move away. Like I moved away from this weird dude who had plenty of space to work out and decided to work out directly behind me in front of the mirror. Yeah, no, I'm just like, I'm not going to waste my energy on you right now. I'm just going to move and continue my workout. Okay. Oh, shit. This one says, God sent an unsolicited pic, screenshotted it, and sent it to his mom. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, another one. Story time. A guy at a bar had been staring for a while. We even moved to a booth and then back to the bar, and he was just always there, just at the edge of us, hand in pocket, sipping a beer. I said something to my friends about home, and he blurted out, "You can take me home." I looked him slowly up and down like I was examining the marbling on a steak. Then, without breaking eye lock, said to my best mate, "Did you clean the whips?" Be careful. Some people are, there's a big kink community, so they might like it. This one says, tell them your line of work is human composting. A salesperson for human composting asked them what their plans are for when the time comes. Be pushy. Maintain eye contact. Ask them how close their parents are to needing your services. Jesus. Okay, this one says, I've been feeding the local murder of crows since I was a child. While it wasn't something I said to the creep, it was tens of crows suddenly rising, cawing, and attacking the man for following me. I was in high school. This is why we should all befriend crows. I'm down for that. Okay. Oh, I hate this, but hopefully it ends well. This one says, 7th grade. I had a boy in my class being overly touchy while the teacher wasn't looking. He decided it would be a good idea to put his hand on my thigh and slowly keep going more up. When I told him to take his hand off twice, gave fair warning, he didn't. So I grabbed his thumb, snapped it back. He was on the football team and came back the next day to tell me I fractured his thumb. Good on you, babe. 7th grade you, 7th grade me. I don't know if I would have done that. Fucking, I love that. I love that for you. I'm like proud of 7th grade you. Okay, this one says, back in my hippie days, I didn't shave my pits. It was summer and it was hot. I was saving a seat for my girlfriend when this man sat down. I told him, sorry, the seat was taken by my girlfriend. He ignored me. I asked him again to get up and he wouldn't. So I started sitting with my seat with my arms up, getting aggressively close to him with my hairy armpit. He left. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. This one says, a friend's mom in high school said, when creepy men stare at you in your car, lick the window. Can confirm it works. Another one says, this is, I think if there's like a big age gap, this one says, just a quote. It says, no, thank you, father time. Okay, another story time. A creepy guy approached me while I was with some friends at a bar. I had just put in a drink order. The guy asked, hey, can I buy you a drink? I looked him dead in the eyes and said, I'm sorry, I don't speak English. Bartender handed me my drink. I told the bartender, the drink is on him. Guy's jaw hits the floor. I'm not mad about it. Take it and walk away. A guy asked my sister, when are you going to stop playing hard to get? She replied, when you stop being hard to want. This one wasn't an unhinged, but it seems like the universe was telling this person they were horrible. It said a part of a cinder block dropped from a stair on his head. All right. That was your guide's got your back. Fuck. Don't fuck with that one. No one would want to fuck with me either. My people are ferocious. Here's another one. There was once a guy who passed me on the street, parentheses, it was dusk and not many people out, and started catcalling me. "You can see me?" I asked. He chuckled and said, "Yeah." So I screamed like a happy, crazy scream, "You can see me?" He looked terrified and walked off. Another one says, "Eye contact, fart, smile." If you can have those in reserve like that, kudos. Kudos to you. This one is unhinged. Follows the request. I once said, "I haven't tasted human blood in years." Okay. The queers are speaking. For context, I'm a lesbian who's never slept with a man. Guys would always say, "You just haven't been with the right guy," or "haven't had the right D yet." And I would eventually say, "Okay, fine, let's do it. I just need to grab my strap. Hope 8 inches is okay." They all were like, "What? No, that's not how it works." My reply, "How do you know you haven't had the right dick yet? Now lube up, champ." Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, this one says, "Ha ha ha, not my story, but yesterday a man, a bit older than me, she guessed, tailed my daughter, early 20s, while she was driving construction equipment on the roadway until he could get in front of her with his car and asked her what she was doing after work. She said, 'Your daughter.'" Oh, this one's good. This one says, "Act like you're going to put your number in his phone and call his mom, wife, sister, etc." That's down. Ooh, good. Okay, this one's a longer story time. I haven't even read it. All right, let's do it. I was at the back of my history class in, I think, 10th grade. This huge, tall, towering, so buff guy in my grade asked to trade seats with the kid that sat next to me when a substitute was in. We were all going to watch some movie, true to nature of American education, obviously, so the lights got turned off. He scooted his desk even closer to me than we already were so that he could clasp his right hand on the inside and higher portion of my left thigh. He squeezed and tried to go even beyond that before I screamed out loud during the quietest moment of the movie I could possibly find, "Get your hand off my thigh before I break every single bone in it." He turned beet red, got so flustered by my sudden screaming that his hand flew up and hit the metal underside of the desk. He shouted in pain, fell out of his chair, and the sub flipped those lights on so quickly to find him in a pool of embarrassment on the floor. He made my life living hell in that class for the rest of the year, and he never got in trouble for touching me despite taking it to the higher ups in school. Oh, I'm so sorry, and I'm really proud of you for speaking up. I'm very, very, very proud of you. This next one I've done too. I once hissed like a cat and he nearly jumped out of his skin. I hiss at people all the time. If I'm not into it, like immediately. Like if I feel the vibe, if I know someone's been staring and they start to approach me, I'm like, let's get ready for it. Hiss and like I love doing that. This feels like a mom answer. It says, "This is very rude, but when my younger sister and I were about 19, 21, we were in a bar and then lead singer of a local moderately successful band approached her with the classic and classy, 'I love to have you sit on my face.'" That's disgusting. It was the 80s, by the way. Without even missing a beat, she turned to him and replied, "Why is your tongue longer than your dick?" Then turned back to her drink as if he wasn't even there. She is still a hero for that line over 40 years later. Jesus. This one says, "I was like 15 working at McDonald's, and for safety reasons, I wore a ring on my left ring finger. This man looked at my finger and he was like, 'Oh, that wasn't there before.' And I was like, 'You're right, it wasn't. I just wear this to keep creepy old men away, like you.' When I tell you he was surprised, it was very funny. Good on you. Also smart." Okay, this is another story time. Came out of a restaurant to get in my car, and an over 200-pound muscular man was standing in front of my car door and would not move. I told him to move away from my car, and he didn't. I stood there staring at him in the eyes like I could break him in half. I said again, "Move." He then said, "I want to show you something." I said no firmly, still staring him in the eyes like I could break him in half. I didn't walk away. I didn't run. I didn't move. After a couple minutes, the man was confused and walked away. Men would believe women are weak and afraid of them. Women are strong and should never be afraid of a man. When you are not afraid, they are afraid of you. I was also 100% prepared to take him down if he touched me, and I embodied it with all of my being. Never be afraid of a man. This one says, "I was around 19, tipsy after a night out with people who didn't care if I got home safe. A dude came over and said, 'You're coming home with me, right?' I threatened to skewer his eggplant emoji like souvlaki. He just stood there. Laughing emoji. Oh my God. A guy at uni kept pushing me to sleep with him. I kept telling him I was on my period. He didn't believe me, so I proved it by wiping some blood on his white t-shirt. That is fucking unhinged, and I love it. I've seen like 5 comments of people barking at men. I mean, similar to hissing. I'm down for it if it works. I said, if I put 5 cents in that coin slot, you call. Oh, God. Oh, this is kind of mean, but also like necessary sometimes. You don't always have to be fucking nice. It says, I said, if I put 5 cents in that coin slot, you call a tooth gap. Will you shut up and do a little dance for me? Oh my God. That is unhinged. And if you're being, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here's another story. An old coworker was being creepy, so I told him the true story of how one of my female relatives scalped a guy who groped her through a bus window in India. He grabbed her, she grabbed his hair. The bus left the station and she didn't let go. His hair and skin let go of him before she did. He was horrified to hear this, but tried to recover and asked if she kept it. I told him no, she couldn't get it through customs. So sad. That was the point where he finally backed away slowly and didn't bother me again for several weeks. I need to know that sister's name. She's a fucking legend. This one says, you're the human version of period cramps. Not mad about that. Okay. Like last couple here. This one is just a quote with like a laughing emoji. It says, nice pixie cut. I'm here for that. I'm not bad. One thing I actually overheard one time was like someone saying, you're acting a little bit too tall for your actual height. And I was like, that's a goddamn burn. Okay. This one says, you're not attractive enough to be behaving this way. Man's got real mad. Okay. This one says, not super dramatic, but I just looked at him and told him I'd never be that desperate. Man was floored. Oh my God, there's so many barking comments. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, one more. This one is actually pretty good. I would get their number and then tell them to meet me at my apartment, and it was an address to a police station or animal shelter. That's fucking hilarious. I actually really like all the ones that like people had on hand ready things to like give them, like cards or like addresses to an animal shelter or to, what was it? Oh, the hair plant one. Oh my God. Now I want to have like cards and I want to just give them out to people as like a public service. Oh my God. That was pretty good. That gave me some really good ideas. 1, I'm happy I made this post. 2, it is not fun to see this many comments about women being bothered like that by people and hit on and having these experiences with creepy men. But also, it is validating when people are like, it's not that bad. I'm like, oh, really? It's like so common. It's so common that if I get in an elevator with 1 or 2 men, that my brain, I don't want it to go there. I don't think like, hey, they're horrible people. No, just my brain immediately thinks, how would I survive the situation if 1 or both of them attacked me? It's so common that that's just through evolution, that's just where my brain goes. Not because I think that person is mean, bad, evil, don't even know them. It is just where our brains go. That is how common this has been. And I'm happy that we're collectively, I think, getting stronger and speaking out more and like having people have our back too. And we're not just like being quiet and being a nice little girl, you know? I think we're all unlearning the be a good little girl, a nice little girl. You know what I mean? Fuck. I love that. Thank you so much for tuning in to the most unhinged and badass way you can shut down a creepy man or men.